Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? What is going on? Hopefully you had a good night last night. We apologize. Something came up last minute where we had to move inside the numbers to tonight. Apologize once again. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Dunce, KK, Louie, what is going on? Chels, did you already get 10K steps in? It's not even 9 a.m. yet. Thank you, everybody, for being here. George, what's going on? Tommy Dimes is here. Parzival, Carol, thank you, everybody. Really appreciate the support. June, how are you this morning? I still can't believe you get up this early, June. I still can't believe it. This is pretty wild to me, actually. It's pretty wild. Beneficial is here. We got a lot to go over. Ray, is it croissant and coffee time? Asking for a friend. Tariq, what's going on? All right. Before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, before we get started, you know the drill. I guess I can't do the drill if it's not open, right? That would be pretty funny. That would be pretty funny. Don't even have it up. And it just opened 20 freaking PowerPoints. Jeez. Why would you open that many? Here we go. Here we go. All right. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, I am not a financial advisor. I am not your financial advisor. Please read the disclaimer. And remember to do your own due diligence. And this is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Cactus Jack is here. What's going on, Cactus Jack? All right. So much to get into. And I did a lot of research on Qualcomm. We're going to get into that at some point today. But some news. SK Hynix filing for IPO. Filing for IPO. I mean, it was inevitable with the amount of capital that they need to raise. It was inevitable. They filed an amended F1 to list American depository shares on the NASDAQ under SKHY. The use of proceeds, ladies and gentlemen, is largely for a Korea production facility and EUV scanners. The high-end lithographic, I can't pronounce that word, gear that you need to make all the chips they make. The people that are running this, Bank of America, Citigroup, Goldman, and JP Morgan. This is landing smack in the middle of the memory boom. Micron is up 400% this year, cracked the S&P 500's top 10. SK Hynix and Samsung are reportedly lining up massive investment plans of $1.3 trillion. There's no way they weren't going public. They need to access the capital markets. Question is, are we buying? I don't know. I want to see the numbers. I have not gone through anything. This news just came out. I will be looking for the F1. I'll be seeing what we can pull out of there. Can you raise money too? I mean, if you start a company, you file to go public, yes, you can raise money. If you're going to raise money, I don't know if it's going to work. But that's the big news right now. Some people are saying, is this a sign of a top? Or the other side, is this the sign of things to keep coming? I'll tell you this. Here is my Carl. I'll tell you this. If I had a G6, I'd come pick you up and we go hang out. I do not have a G6. Very far from it. The chances of me owning a G6 in my life are so slim, I probably have a better chance of throwing out the first pitch of a Yankee game. Just saying. Just saying. All right. Here are my raw thoughts on this. I think this is a good signal. Now, the market may take this as a top. They may take this as SK needs to go public. They do not have the money to fund this build out. They need every last dollar they can possibly get their hands on. They may. But when I look at this, I see the other side of the coin. I see the side of the coin where demand is so incredible that they don't have a choice but to go public. They don't have a choice other than raising capital because they're in a situation where the build out is warranted. They're in a situation where if they don't do this, they lose ground to Samsung and Micron. I think that this is a signal that the trade/investment rides on, and it's going to ride on for years and years and years. And here's the thing. Just because you raise capital does not mean you're building and it's going to be up next month. Look at the data centers. Look how long it takes to get data centers up. This is going to be a ramp that comes on slowly. I don't see how we are in a situation where the memory trade. Now, look, the price fluctuation of shares, that's one thing. Let me rephrase memory trade. The amount of chips that are being purchased from these companies, okay? I don't see this slowing down anytime soon. And I know the bears want to come out. The bears want to sound smart. They want to go to all these what ifs that they can't prove. And look, I can't prove what I'm saying either, but the data is on my side. The data is on my side. The memory companies are spending an exorbitant amount of capital on CapEx. They're not doing this for no reason. They're doing it because they need to do it, period. So we'll see. Now, what does this mean for the one that we're in, Micron, or the one that some of us are in, Micron? Well, I think it's good news. I think that the Samsung and SK news is bullish Micron because, once again, the way that I said that Micron, their earnings validated the AI trade, once again, after every other company, I think that this validates everything that Micron said in the earnings call and everything that they're going to do. That's where I'm at on this. We are making moves here. We are making moves. So let's look. Let's see where we're at. Let's get some info in there. All right. We got crude at 70.95. Not what I want to see. It's up a little bit. Brent traveling back to 75. This is what we call no bueno. No bueno. Let's see. Let's go. Let's use Robinhood. See where everything's moving. All right. In the pre-market, ladies and gentlemen, SanDisk is up 2%. We are not getting a big bull rally today. Just from the look of the first couple of companies on the watch list, Broadcom 375, Oracle 148, NVIDIA 196.15. Nike, we got Nike earnings. I'm going to cover Nike earnings this afternoon. And then Jason will come on for a technical Tuesday. Hopefully everybody's got their coffee ready. I switched it up today. I don't know. I wake up in the morning and sometimes I want iced coffee. Sometimes I want hot coffee. I don't know. I don't know. Today was a hot coffee day. Let me know. You know what? We're going to take a poll. This deserves a poll. I am actually very interested. Hot coffee, iced coffee, or no coffee? I really am going to be shocked if we have you know what? We'll put energy drink in there because maybe people drink energy drinks instead of coffee. So, what do you prefer to get you started? Hot coffee, iced coffee, no coffee, or no caffeine, an energy drink. Let's see. Got the poll going. We got 2,000 people here. Let's see. I knew you guys are going to be saying that. I knew that I wasn't going to say it. Man, 54% out of that gate for hot coffee. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Nike's up 20 cents. They have a new CFO. I am interested to see what's going on. Zeta's flat. You got Google, you got Microsoft basically flat. All right, let's see the biggest losers. ASTS down 4.7%. Bitcoin, we're going to get into it. You guys know I don't like to talk crypto, but we're going to get into this. Bitcoin losing 2%. We're at 58,000. ServiceNow lost 100. IBM 275. Salesforce 157. CrowdStrike 738. Reddit 173. Amazon 238. Uber 75. SoFi hanging out 18. Meta 560. All right, let's go to Bitcoin. This is ugly this week, ladies and gentlemen. This is ugly. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on Bitcoin, but I got to give you my take on this for what it's worth. So Michael Saylors' never sell stance is officially done. Strategy, which is MSTR, authorized plans to sell Bitcoin to help cover dividend payments and interest on its debt. This is a shift, a fundamental shift from the story that this was built on. So Bitcoin's broken below 60,000. It's been hovering here for quite some time. We're down like 1.5% to 2% this morning. It's approaching 58,000. It was at 120,000. Everybody's saying we're in a crypto winter. Everybody's saying that this runs in cycles over 4 years, all right? The squeeze, though, give me one sec. All right, I can take care of that later. I think that the squeeze is on MSTR, Strategies Enterprise Value, because it's slipped below the value of Bitcoin holdings. So the MNAV is now under 1x. MSTR is holding 843,000 Bitcoin at an average of 75,700. I mean, all the Bitcoin that Saylor was early on does not matter because the average price, 75,700, if I did the research correctly. You know what? I think they have a board. Let me go to their website. Hold on. Let's check their board out. All right, let me bring this up while we go over it. So the market cap is 34 billion. The enterprise value is 54 billion. You have the MNAV of 1.09. They have 2.5 billion in cash. They're able to cover the dividend for 28 years now. Now, I'm not sure if this is updated for the drawdown or not, and this is not showing us their average price. I got the average price from an article I was reading. This is not good. Now, a lot of people believe that in the crypto community, from what I was reading, that strategy could be a generational opportunity. I don't know, man. I just don't know. Matt said it. Other people I talked to said it. I don't know. I'm not a crypto guy, but this does change everything, because if the stock premium keeps shrinking, strategy and Michael Saylor could lose its ability to refinance maturing debt, and they may get forced to sell more Bitcoin. And if they do, what happens then? What happens? It becomes a feedback loop where they're having to sell Bitcoin to cover the payments. I mean, they've issued all of these different instruments to raise capital. 12% dividend on STRC. I mean, on STRD, where's the dividend? There's no dividend on. Oh, there is. Fixed 10%. STRK, dividend 8%. STRF, 10%. Bitcoin has to stay up for this to work, in my opinion. So we'll see. I don't know. This is not good. I can tell you that. Now, Saylor has said his own floor estimate is in the $40,000 to $50,000 range. So he actually thinks that Bitcoin can go down lower. I don't like that they don't have their average Bitcoin price here. I do not like it. And I don't even know if the article I found was correct on their average Bitcoin price. But this is not good for the crypto community. I can tell you that. And we can look at their purchases. I mean, the last purchase was 67,000. I mean, they bought all over the map. I mean, they were buying in the hundreds of thousands. When was the first purchase? 2020, they were buying at 11,000. All of these purchases have gotten absolutely killed when you're paying 10x more for the same asset. They keep averaging up. And when you average up and you're issuing preferred shares and paid dividend, and this is your asset, not good. So we'll see. Now, we did get some news out of SharpLink, and we know that Tom Lee bought more Ethereum with BMNR. A lot of people upset about it. I'm back holding also. SharpLink came out, and they said that they added, let me get the exact numbers. They added 10,000 Ethereum at 1611. They own almost 1 million Ethereum. They repurchased 2.13 million shares, and they raised 75 million last week via direct offering. So we'll see. Just buy cyber and chip stock. Okay. Tom Lee made me touch grass one day. Well, you should probably get outside and touch grass all the time. All right, so that's it for crypto. I am going to buy more Ethereum at some point. I don't know when. All right. We have over 800 votes on this poll. We're going to close it out. Hot coffee's the winner. Hot coffee is the winner, ladies and gentlemen. 61%, iced coffee 15%, no caffeine 13%, energy drink 11%. All right. All right. Oh boy. All right, we got a few things. So the Jolts, 10 a.m. I'm putting it on the calendar that we gotta look at it. The expected is 7.36 million versus 7.61 million. These have been the highest readings in over a year. So we get the Jolts report today, and it's hinting companies are coming out of the no hire. And we also get the quits and the layoff rates. So we'll take a look at that. We got consumer confidence, 10 a.m. The expected is 94.6 versus 93.1. We got Chicago PMI mid-morning, manufacturing gauge for the region. Anything above 50 is expansion. Housing. FA house price index is today. We do have a short week. I don't know. I'm probably going to go live on Friday and just go over my picks and how I'm positioning for the second half of the year. I think that's what we're going to do on Friday. So my regular time on Friday, we'll let everybody sleep in. I'm going to sleep in maybe like 9:30, 10 a.m. We'll go over my plans for the second half. So oil. Big that oil is still under 75. It's 9:08. We got 22 minutes until the bell. And I got to tell you, you guys are really getting on me about my bell ringing skills. Get ready for today. That's all I can say. Get ready for today. Bell ringing skills are going to get a little better, ladies and gentlemen. Little better. Listen, sometimes you got to sleep in a little bit. Sometimes you got to sleep in a little bit. All right, we're going to cut over real quick. Let's see what the big guys are saying.
I remember when Apple was 19 times earnings. NVIDIA's at 21 times earnings. And I think that's actually going to be too low. They have to buy. They have to do the Luca Maestri plan. He was the CFO who actually.
How crazy is that? How crazy is that? Tesla, Alphabet, NVIDIA, Apple, Meta, Microsoft, Broadcom, Microsoft. All down. All down. Crazy. What happens if big tech rallies? Where the hell does this market go?
Executed one of the greatest buybacks in history. Take in a third of the stock if they have to, but they need to buy back stock because they don't have a. That is
the best use of their capital.
Well, they don't have a line of sight into when demand's going to end, and Dickerson doesn't have a line of sight to when demand is even near ending. And the reason I say that is because Dickerson can't plan on how much to make. And NVIDIA can't either because NVIDIA, I think, is afraid it might drop. Okay. I personally feel that.
It might drop when? 29, 30?
We don't know. I'm just saying there's an attitude among Sanjay and among Gary which says, listen, we can't forecast because demand's so great. And NVIDIA can't because they don't have surety. They need to come out and if they said the things that Rocha said in that Micron call, then the stock will go up $100.
You think it would?
Yes, I do.
But why isn't it assumed?
Why isn't it assumed? Because when you listen to Google, they're telling you, listen, we got a better product. Listen to Amazon, we got a better product. I mean, we have major customers who are saying we can compete.
All right, so this
did you see things? Did you see the things that Broadcom said?
Yes, of course I have. We had Hoptan on actually while you were gone. Sorry.
How'd you get Hop?
Yeah, we had
Hop's
Hoptan.
my guy.
We had Hop.
Hop's my guy.
He's not your guy. We had Hop and
Did
Greg
he say
Brockman.
where was I?
No, he didn't ask about you at all.
Didn't he?
He didn't ask about Kramer, ladies and gentlemen. He did not ask about Kramer. Newsflash.
He was very happy to be with me.
He was
I
mad.
think.
He was mad you
Yeah.
weren't here. How about that?
He wasn't really
Thank
at
you.
all.
Oh, then I'm
It's like, David, it's
I'm in
great
much
to see
better
you
shape.
again. But so you do believe then that investors' unwillingness to buy NVIDIA to a certain extent is because they fear the competition from the likes of Amazon or Google or Cerebras, or I mean, name your
Yes, I do
company
think- I do think-
is going to ultimately hit their market share.
Okay, when I'm with Andy Jassy, to drop a name that's even bigger than Hoctan, who happens to be, by the way, he's at Amazon.
I don't
And he
know
says to
about
me
that. I don't know about that, Jim. Now, if it was Bezos, a little different. I think a lot of people are pissed at Jassy right now. Never fear, ladies and gentlemen. Never fear. Never fear. Lena's here.
We got a $50 billion chip business. Our chips are better than what NVIDIA has. Google says our chips are better. You start thinking, wait a second, maybe these companies are going to encroach on NVIDIA's territory. But no one's got better CPUs other than Intel. Intel's the one to watch. Intel is going to $200, like a rocket chip, not like a rocket lab, like a rocket ship.
It's funny. I don't see you endorsing NVIDIA the way you used to.
NVIDIA has to buy back stock hand over fist, and then I, just like I did with Tim Cook when I heard how much he was buying because he said our stock is so cheap. There you go. Okay. And you know, I'm not back. I said it. I say NVIDIA, own it, don't trade it. I'm not backing away from that. I am saying that it's quite daunting when you have some of the biggest, best companies in the world saying, off the, a little behind the scenes, you know what? You're NVIDIA. Good luck.
Yeah, NVIDIA has underperformed the semi index for 6 straight sessions. That's the longest since September.
Well, look,
And we've seen some insider selling, Jim, from the second largest shareholder recent days.
well, look, there's grave concerns that unless they have someone, and here sovereign buys, that the Mag 7, that the companies in the Mag 7 that need them, which pretty much everybody, may not be able to buy as much as we think.
All right. We'll come back to that. I got some thoughts on what he said. And I don't know that he's wrong on everything. I think that he is making a good point that NVIDIA needs to buy back a lot of shares. We know that Jensen came out and said that they're going to put 50% of the free cash flow toward capital allocation for the dividend and the buyback. Now, there is a big difference between what NVIDIA makes and what Alphabet and Amazon are making. So NVIDIA's chips, okay, Blackwell, it's a GPU. So the CUDA cores are for general parallel math plus the tensor cores for matrix operations. They run huge ranges of workloads, including training, inference, scientific computing, graphic simulation. The TPU, which is an ASIC, is an application-specific integrated circuit. It's custom, alternative to the GPU. We know that, and I'm not Jose, and there's a lot of people. I am not an expert in this by any means, but they do two different things. So the big trade-off is flexibility versus efficiency. GPUs adapt to whatever the model architecture that comes along is, whereas the TPU wiring is very specific. It's less adaptable. Now, the reason why Amazon and Alphabet are so big on TPUs is because they can design and create with Broadcom exactly what they need for very specific workloads inside of their data centers. I don't think, and I could be wrong, I'd love to speak to Jose about this at some point because I don't really know Jose well, but every time I've been privileged enough to be on one of Amit's shows with him, he knows so much about all these different areas about these chips. From what I've gathered, the TPUs are very specific and they need both. You can't have one without the other. You need both. And if we look at the order book that Jensen is saying that they have, and we look at what Broadcom is saying that they have, even AMD is growing their revenue hand over fist because you can't buy enough NVIDIA products. I mean, we are seeing that you need both. I think what Kramer said makes sense, that there is a narrative out there that you don't need as many NVIDIA chips. I don't see that narrative showing up in the numbers. That's the big thing. I do not see that showing up in the numbers. And if Jose is, well, I don't know, Chris. People are going to pay for whatever the best product is. And right now, they're paying. At some point, they may not, but right now they are. And we'll see what happens. TPUs right now, huge. But NVIDIA is still selling a ton of systems. And if Vera Rubin, Vera for the CPU, Rubin for the new GPU, if Rubin is that much better for everything these companies are doing than Blackwell, they're going to buy it up. I mean, Jensen's been very clear about the order book for GPUs. OpenAI and OpenAI is 100% making their own chip for TPUs. They're still going to need some type of GPU also. So we're going to see. The memory trade is validating all of this, though. And SK going public to raise the capital for this build out is just even more bullish. All right. I want to listen. I didn't get a chance this morning to watch this. I figured we watch it together. And it's Wilmington Trust discussing if equities will outperform over the next 12 months.
Trust Chief Investment Strategist. And Megan, I'm going to cut you some slack. Wilmington Trust, a lot of trust there. Got to have a lot of trust in what you're doing. So I just think you probably have a more conservative overall viewpoint of how to manage money for people. It's got to be there, obviously, when you're at Wilmington Trust. But this is what got me. Our economic and market views have become more structured, and we think it's an appropriate time to move to a modest overweight to equity risk. So all through this, we've been talking about the new highs again and these ridiculous outsized gains for the quarter. So through all of this, you haven't been overweight. You've just been market weight.
Yeah, we've been fully invested. And if you think about the first quarter, we were really pretty sensitive to some downside risks to the economy, most notably the labor market. And I was probably on here at some point talking about private payrolls, ex healthcare being in contraction in the first quarter. And we have never seen that outside of a recession. So this is another time where this time is different, but that was not something that we were willing to stick our necks out on. And outside of the real AI plays, we did see some weakness on the economic side. And now we've got the labor market reaccelerating. So we were fully invested through that, but now we think it's appropriate to be overweight, mostly because we have some of this headline risk around the war receding. And I think the second half of the year might not see the narrow supercharged gains of the market, but we think equities will outperform fixed income in over the next 12 months.
Well, what does fully invested mean at a shop like yours? Is it, you mean no cash? You could be 100% bonds. Is that fully invested, or so you weren't fully invested in equities because now you're getting more invested because you're going to a modest overweight?
It means a benchmark weight to equities. So depending on what your risk tolerance is, that might be 70% into equities. That means we had 70% in equities. Not sitting on excess cash, not sitting on excess defensive access like investment grade fixed income, for example.
Okay, so do you remember what it was? Was it 70? And where will it go now? What does a modest overweight mean?
So it depends on how the client, like what their goals and their risk tolerance is, but just take a 70-30 risk profile. Yes, that means that we have about 74% in equities, a little bit, the opposite of that. So, 27% in fixed income. And we've diversified it across large cap, small cap, and emerging markets, where large cap has had a lot of gains, but small cap has also done very well. And another reason why we've turned more constructive is that we do have a more dovish outlook on the Fed, where we think the Fed is going to be cutting rates this year, not because of weakness in the economy, but more because of disinflationary trends. And that should be very good for small cap and also emerging markets being an area that's obviously had a tremendous amount of AI momentum as well.
Right. So at this point, is it, if you had to pick Dow, S&P, NASDAQ, is the Dow where you're like a Wilmington Trust is more focused, or you're ready to roll the dice on the Mag 8 now, people say?
Well, we did deploy that within large cap. We kind of split it between growth and value. We have a slight overweight to growth in our portfolios, but also recognize that if the economy is holding in pretty well and we get that dovish Fed value, probably have a good year. So I think you want to be diversified, and there's parts of tech. It's a very complicated landscape. There's parts of tech that have done incredibly well, like the memory names and semiconductors, but there's also other parts of tech like the Mag 7, as you've noted, that have underperformed. So I think there's opportunity there, and we don't want to be putting all the chips in one basket.
Well, I got the new report out from what's going on. Here we go. I got to tell you, I'm getting bullish again. I've always been bullish, but I'm really bullish again. We got CPI at 4.2, Truflation's at 1.91%. Now we see German inflation slowing in June. Slowed to 2.3% in June, below the expectations at 2.6%. Canada's GDP expanded 0.1% month over month. I got to tell you, oil rolling over, even if the Fed does not modernize their stack and use real-time data points, CPI and PPI should slow over the next 2 to 3 months, as long as oil stays where it is today. Oil's off $20 to $30 per barrel on average from where it was when CPI and PPI built. So even if they don't modernize, 2 to 3 months should creep into those reports from the BLS. And I think we're going to have a different Fed narrative toward the end of the summer. Here's the other thing. For all you QXO shareholders out there and QXO enthusiasts, Top Build. Their shareholders approved the acquisition by QXO. Absolutely incredible. QXO is up today, 3.25%. In the pre-market. 6 minutes until you need to get your earplugs out. I'm going to go for it with the bell just to give everybody fair warning. Now, QXO needs several things to happen. One, Brad Jacobs needs to continue acquiring companies. He started with Beacon Roofing. He then went to Kodiak. Now he's doing Top Build. He owns the entire stack now. They'll probably sub everything out to XPO Logistics for last mile movement. He owns everything from roofing to the lumberyard to everything inside the house to everything on the exterior. QXO is looking to become the -- distributor for building supplies. Commercial and residential. Now, his goal was to get to $50 billion in annualized revenue over the next 10 years through strategic acquisitions and modernizing their stack on technology, building a better purchasing and procurement department. In an environment where rates come down, which I do think there's a very good chance that that happens toward the end of the year still, predicated on oil. It's all predicated on oil. But rates come down. That means mortgages come down. That means refinancing comes down. That means the debt markets get cheaper. Cost of capital gets cheaper. Home builders are likely to build more. People are likely to do more renovations on homes. We're likely to see more houses on the market. We're likely to see the home builders building more. So I like QXO here. Brad Jacobs is a winner. It's going to take some time to really work, though. Tanner wants in. Tanner's here. I wasn't looking at the chat. Oh, I'm so sorry. Listen, I apologize. We have a real QXO bull. I would love to learn more about QXO. Will the real QXO bull please stand up? And then I'm going to send Chris an invite in a little bit so we can get a little conversation going about tech. And we got 3 minutes until the bell. 3 minutes until the bell, ladies and gentlemen. Any thoughts on Grab? Lincoln, thank you very much. I appreciate it. No, look, I don't like investing outside of North America. I make an exception for Canada because I love Enbridge and Bank of Nova Scotia. I used to make a exception for Alibaba. I do not own Baba anymore. I've considered buying it again. I haven't. I'm not looking to grab. I don't want to be in stuff overseas. I really don't. I do own exposure to SPEM, SPEM. It's the State Street Emerging Market ETF. So that's where I get my exposure from. But no, individually, I do not. And I'm not really interested in Grab. And look at this. QXO is up 3%, ladies and gentlemen. 3%. Look, Brad Jacobs, this guy, I'm really bullish on QXO. I would love to learn more about the company. If somebody with some knowledge wants to let me know. ARM Holdings up $5. NVIDIA trying to get back to 197. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Good old Jensen. AMD, Lena's favorite company, 545. Microsoft, 371. Oil just ticked up, crossed over 71. I do not like that. I do not like that. I want to see that on the big chart, how that's going. You know what? I clicked the wrong thing again. All right, oil futures for the week. Yeah, we need that to come down. We need that to come down. Volk, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Why are you extra bullish today? I woke up on the right side of the bed. No, I did a lot of research last night to flush out some of the things I've been thinking about. And I'm super bullish tech. All right, gentlemen. The market is open. Get your earplugs in. The market is open. There you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We are going. We are off to the races, ladies and gentlemen. QXO, 2.92%. AMD, 2.69%. Nokia, up 2%. Venture Global, 1133. And next decade, 748. We got SanDisk over 2,000. SpaceX, 165.49. Matty Short not working out too well. It's ticking up a little bit. Qualcomm trying to run. I did a lot of research on Qualcomm last night, guys. A lot of research. I figured it would have come up. I'm probably going to save that for tonight for Chris and myself. Chris wanted to talk about something. I want to talk about Qualcomm also. So we'll talk about that. Tanner, I'm always like this. I want to learn about QXO. Come on in. School me about QXO, and then we'll get Chris in. Marvell, 279, trying to get to 280. Microsoft, up just a little bit, 370. Apple, 282. The Qs are up just a little bit. Hood, down, but it's still over 100. Amazon being disrespected, still under 240. No bueno. I don't like the way it's moving like this. I got to actually put it in order here. Reddit, down a little bit, 172.26. Rubrik, 77.22. Qualcomm, 192. It's moving up. Qualcomm is a value play. And from the research I did on their chips and their blueprint from Investor Day, I think it's pretty interesting going forward. But you got to have 3 to 5 years. The growth is not there, but it could get there. SoFi just lost 18. Yeah, I will say this. If SoFi goes under 17, I'm probably a buyer. SpaceX, turning the corner, going down a little bit. TKO, down again. Maybe short-term top, not sure. I think TKO is a very good strategic asset going forward. Take Two, losing a little bit. Oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, I downloaded the enhanced version of GTA 5 for the PC. I was playing on the legacy version. Oh my God. The enhanced version is insane. So here's the question. I got to put a poll out because I need everybody to tell me. Do you guys want to play GTA 5 with me online? And we start our own crew and just play it together? Hold on. And do some invite onlys. Let's get if we have a bunch of people that want to do it, I think we should find some time every week to do it. I think it would be fun, not talk about stocks and just hang out. So let's get that poll out. But Take Two, I've done the due diligence. I didn't like the valuation, but you know what? I think I may be wrong. I think I'm looking at the forward numbers from GTA 6 all wrong. I think the micro purchases are going to be huge. And I think that they're being understated by a lot of the estimates. And I don't think that Take Two has actually given us a look into how much they're going to be able to monetize this game. Look, GTA 5 has been out for 11 years. Would you want to play GTA 5 online with this community before GTA 6 comes out? All right. I just put the poll out. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. Let's see how many people. Oh, my God. This many of you play GTA? Holy cow. I may have to own Take Two on principle because of the amount of people in the community that play GTA. I did not think this. This is crazy. This is legit crazy. The next poll is going to be, do you play on PC, Xbox, or PlayStation? That's going to be the next poll. All right. Let's take it to the top. Oil's under 71. I like it. Apple, 283. AMD, 559. Lena, you may not even have to go to work today, Lena. 559 on AMD. Look at that. Amazon, 240. We got there. We lost it. We got there. We lost it. Can you just stay above 240, Amazon? Just stay above 240. Stop depressing me. Stop underperforming the market. Let's get after it, Amazon. Bezos needs to get out. No, we want Bezos in the gym. We want Bezos to be healthy. But maybe stay off the boat. Get back into the office. Stop playing, not going to curse. But actually, you know what? It's not even really a curse. Stop playing grab ass with Blue Origin. Get back to Amazon, please. ARM Holdings, 353. Broadcom, can we get above 400, Broadcom? 376. Let's go. Your earnings report was incredible. Incredible. Show the market what you're made of. Let's go. Bitcoin, 58,217. Salesforce, 157. CrowdStrike, 752. Okay. Holy shit. Okay. And it looks like the poll is pretty much tapped out. We're going to end the poll. This is wild. 47% yes on 612 votes. New poll. What system do you play on? Xbox, PS5, or PC? So I play on PC. So let's see. Let's see where everybody's at. Maybe we can make this happen. Maybe we can make this happen. All right, CoreWeave, 95.22. Cisco, 116. Google, 351. Hood, 101.67. I'd rather see Hood in the triple digits than the double digits. IBM, 271.47. IREN, 45.12. Lululemon, 112.82. Meta, 5.56 and change. This candle, I do not like it at all. If we've learned anything, it's that these companies are so damn compute constrained that Alphabet had to limit Meta's access to Gemini. I just don't see a world where chips don't win in the next 5 years. I just don't. This is nothing like we've ever seen before. And you know what? When it comes to the AI revolution, I still believe we're in the first inning. We have no idea how it's going to play out. I could be so wrong. But when you think about it, we have not gotten humanoid robots yet. We have not gotten full FSD nationwide legal. At some point in the next decade, you have to think 50% or more of all cars can be FSD. You got to think that we're going to have a tremendous amount of robots. Think about the amount of compute we need on a daily basis for that. That's so much more chips. We don't have AGI. We don't have super intelligence. We're going to need so much more. I am not worried about this trade. Now, Meta's starting to really piss me off. Really starting to piss me off. Q2 earnings cannot come quick enough. Let's look at AMD. I think that they're going to do well. Look at that. That hurts. I sold so many shares at $3.78. $3.70. Whoa, PC Nation. We got 409 votes. I'm going to let this poll go until we get over 600. 600 of you voted. I want to see this go up. Please, if you voted in the first poll about GTA, vote on this one. Please. We're going to have to do it. We're going to play with everybody. At some point, we're going to figure out how to do this maybe once a week for a couple hours. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Pretty wild. Wow. I'm shocked. AMD breaking out above 550. Look at that. AMD running down a dream on a year-to-date chart. Looks much different than good old NVIDIA. NVIDIA not running down a dream on a year-to-date chart, ladies and gentlemen. Not running down a dream. But NVIDIA is spiking right now. NVIDIA is up $2.50. I'll take it. I will take it, but you know what? Not going to say that I'm a little jealous. What I am going to say is I believe that NVIDIA should replicate what AMD is doing, and these companies have a lot more money to make. They have a lot more money to make. Yeah, Jolts is at 10 o'clock. Yes, Technical Tuesday with Jason. I believe Jason will be on around 4 o'clock, 4:15. And then Chris and I at 9 o'clock tonight as a makeup from last night. Today's a long day. Today is going to be a long one. Empire of the Sun, running down a dream. Okay. Ed Sterling, great job, Steve. Thanks for covering for Amit and doing the market open and close. Thanks for all you do. You're getting good at this. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it, Ed. C-Man, fuel cell. Do you own this energy play? I do not. I don't follow that stuff. I'm just not into it. I get it. There's a lot of stuff in energy storage that's interesting. I learned that I don't know shit about that stuff, and I can't comprehend it when I started researching quantum space. And it's just not for me. I can understand oil much easier. I can understand pipelines much easier from energy upstream producers, but fuel cells, no. Can't do it. We got Nike earnings today, which I will be looking at right before we start Technical Tuesday. Nike is interesting. They have a new CFO. I want to see what Nike does. In fact, where's Nike into the print? Oh. That was a big wick down. It's starting to come back on it. Why is coffee so good? If only Starbucks was an interesting stock, I'd buy more of it. I would buy more of it. Roast my top 4 convictions: AMD, Nebius, SoFi, UNH. I don't hate it. I mean, Nebius has run so much. I don't know how much more it can go. But I'm a fan of UNH. I'm a fan of SoFi, obviously, and I'm a fan of AMD. I like NVIDIA better than AMD, but AMD's been performing much better. And Nike at a 4% dividend is interesting. If you've never had coffee in your life, do not start now. Please do not start now. All right, we got 600. We are over 600 votes. PC wins. That's wild. All right. I'm going to figure something out. I'm going to try to fit it in the schedule. I'm not going to try. I will fit it in the schedule. We will play GTA together. GTA 5. We got all summer to hang out. So, yes, we're going to make our own crew. We'll do invite-only sessions so nobody else can screw with us and we can just do stuff. I don't think it's cross-platform. Yeah, where is Tanner? Tanner said, come, you should invite a real QXO investor on. I mean, I think if you guys put in the chat, you want Tanner, maybe he'll come on. Put it in the chat. All right, Micron, 1139. This has been incredible. I mean, you look at the 1 year on this. This is incredible. And you know what? Micron did something a lot of people did not think they were going to do. They put up such a damn good quarter. The analyst community doubled their EPS expectations for 2028. Doubled. Man, you guys really want Tanner. You know what? I'll call him. I'll ask him why he's hiding. Maybe he answers. Maybe he doesn't. He didn't even look at the text I sent him. He's trying to hide. He's trying to hide. Ladies and gentlemen, he's trying to hide. He's hiding, ladies and gentlemen. He didn't look at the text. He's not picking up the phone. He's not even hitting end. He's not even sending me the voicemail. He's just letting it ring. No answer. Guys in hiding. Guys in hiding. Oh, man. Craziness. Well, you know, you guys can say boomers with phone calls, but you know what? I did send him a text message, ladies and gentlemen. I did send him a text message. He's at the spa. I like it. All right, let's look at Amazon. So annoying. Amazon is so annoying. So annoying. Why does it not give us? This is not right. Oh, it's on. Hold on. This is not right. Hold on. Let me do it on Seeking Alpha. Amazon. Advanced chart. Amazon's got a lot of work to do. Look, it's been in the penalty box for a long time. Amazon over the past 5 years is only up 37%. The S&P is up 71%, and Walmart is up 145%. There's no reason for this. No reason for this. And I don't know what it's going to take for Amazon to break out. But Amazon has not broken out. I thought the stock split would be really bullish for it. I thought a lot of things would be really bullish for it. I know his wife is dumping a ton of shares. She's giving money to charity. I know. I get it. And yes, over a 10-year period, it is up significantly more. I am aware. But look, over the past 5 years, these are the numbers. Over the past year, it's underperformed. Amazon is trading at the cheapest valuation it has traded at in a very long time. All right, we got some news. Paramount Skydance's $110 billion takeover of Warner Brothers Discovery could face an intervention from the UK government after the country's culture and media secretary raised concerns. Oh my God. CME Group is launching trading contracts for beef products used in hamburgers and meatballs as prices surge amid a shrinking U.S. cattle herd. Whoa. Pretty wild. CME Group getting in on the action again. All right. NVIDIA news. NVIDIA is ramping up hiring for its China robotics team, 12 roles across Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenzhen, according to SCMP. The jobs cover embodied intelligence, simulation, implementation solutions. China remains a key market for humanoid robotics and broader physical AI. I don't think that this stops anytime soon. I really don't. I know people think that this is going to end in a year or two. I'm willing to bet it's not. And ultimately, there is a thought experiment to do. There is a thought experiment to do. In the short term, do you go with the picks and shovels? When does that rotate? And who's the end beneficiaries? I think you can play it both ways. Technically, I own the picks and shovels because of NVIDIA and Broadcom, and I own the end plays because I own Amazon, Alphabet, and Microsoft, and I have no intention of selling any of them. Look at Corning. I'm a shareholder. I don't own a lot of it, though. It's in my bullshit portfolio. Not bullshit, but it's in my dividend harvesting for Seeking Alpha. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Look at that pump. Look at that on 1 year. It's gone from 40 to 267. Incredible. Yes, I've had Meta for a very long time. I had since the IPO. GLW, baby, glowing it up. Glowing it up. All right, let's look at VC. Somebody put it in the chat. I'm surprised. I mean, I like VC. Horrible chart. 2671. What is the dividend yield on this? So for those of you who are unfamiliar with VC, and let me ask everybody this. Hold on. We got another poll out there. Are you interested in dividend stocks? I've never asked this question. I am actually very interested. I've never asked it. VC is looking horrible. The dividend yield is 6.62%. Wild. Wow, a good amount of you are interested in dividend stocks. Very cool. Very cool. VC. I want to show you this company. Presentations. Okay, here we go. All right, let's get this poll off. All right, good amount of you. So right now, VC Properties is one of the REITs I am actively looking at. I own it. I probably am going to buy more. And I'm going to share the window like this. We're going to share it as a window so I can just click in and out of things. So VC Properties owns the most casino property, I think, out of any REIT, if I'm not mistaken. Here we go. So they have 100, and here's the best part, 100% occupancy, 100% triple net leases. Triple net leases mean when you rent out or you lease space, the tenant is responsible for everything. They're responsible for not just the rent payment to you. They're responsible for the taxes, the upkeep, the parking lot, everything. Everything is on you. Everything. So they are 100% occupancy. They have 18 properties with Caesars, 12 properties with MGM Resorts. So Caesars in Las Vegas, Caesars in AC, they actually own those buildings. And then Caesars Entertainment pays them the rent. I'm a very big fan of VC Properties. Remaining lease term of 40 years. I want to show you the map that they have. Give me a sec. Okay, 66,000 hotel rooms, 4.5 million square feet of gaming, 700 food and beverage outlets, 50 entertainment venues, 4 golf courses, almost 7 million feet of meeting and convention space, 500 retail outlets. They own the trophy assets on the Strip. So they own 660 acres of the land, 43,600 hotel rooms. The dividend, 6.5%. It is, to me, very interesting. So VC Properties, if you're interested, it's one of the more interesting REITs, in my opinion. I'm going to throw it on here along with O. So I can keep track of them. Realty Income, probably the best monthly payer, in my opinion. I should have Energy Transfer on here. Let's throw Coca-Cola on here. Some old school stocks. Big old scale. I have Mo on here, don't I think I have Mo on here. All right. Tech is doing its thing. Let's see who the biggest winners are. SanDisk, Nebius. Getting to 275, ladies and gentlemen. Getting to 275. AMD 552. It's running. Tech's rebounding, ladies and gentlemen. The picks and shovels are working. QXO is back over 18. I know a lot of us are in Nebius. I'm in it too. NVIDIA trying to do something with its life. Let's get back to 200. That'd be nice. That'd be real nice. Microsoft turning. Qualcomm 190. SpaceX turning it up. Things that make you go, Oil's under 71. Palantir. I think that the deal with NVIDIA is going to be huge. I also think that Palantir looks interesting again. I don't know that it's going to go below 100. Maybe it does. But I think Palantir looks very interesting again. The forward numbers look good. Reddit, 174.35. All right, we got Jolts. We got the Jolts report coming up in a minute. We got the Jolts report in a minute. I'm refreshing trading economics. I got Cactus Jack up. Once it comes out, we will read it out. Nestle to cut artificial colorings from portfolio by the end of 2026. That'll be interesting. Yeah, I'm not a Prologix person for REITs. Look, my REITs are Simon Property Group, Realty Income, Omega Healthcare Investors, Starwood Property Group, AGNC Investment Corp, and VC Properties. Those are the ones I really like. I like NextEra Energy. I want to see if the deal with Dominion gets done. I'm not sure that the regulator is going to let it happen. All right. U.S. consumer confidence, 91.2. Estimate, 94.4. U.S. May job openings, 7.59 million versus 7.29 million. That is what we have, ladies and gentlemen. That is what we have. All right, let's see how the market's going to react to this. All right. Nebius still up. Sandis still up. Let's see. AMD staying above 550. QXO 1835. I like it. All right. I'm cutting over. Give me a sec. One sec. All right, here we go.
A can't-miss interview with Cleveland Fed President and voting member Beth Hammack, conversation of BOE Governor Andrew Bailey, and also ahead this hour, it is the final trading day of the first half of the year. We're going to talk to Citi Scott Cronert about why he's turning more cautious on tech, and former Facebook Chief Security Officer Alex Stamos.
91.2 then becomes the best read, well, just since April of this year. If we look at the present situation, also a miss, 116.4, sequentially lower than the downward revised 119.4, and 116.4 would be the lightest read going back to, wow, we're going back to Feb of 21. Finally, what lies ahead are expectations, a miss on expectations, but this one is sequentially lower due to a revision, 74.4. Last month, it was exactly the same number. It now gets downgraded to 71.4. 74.4 would now be the best reading of the year, going back to Dece of last year's 74.6. So pretty disappointing on confidence. Jolt's looking pretty good, and that's what the market's paying attention to. Right now, we see that yields are at the highs of the session, 4.40 in a 10-year. That's up 2 basis points. Leslie, back to you.
All right, Rick, thank you so much. Stocks wrapping up a volatile first half of the year today, the best first half for the Dow in 5 years, and the best quarter for the NASDAQ since 2020. Our next guest just downgraded, yes, downgraded Infotech, that sector to market weight. Joining us now is Citi Head of U.S. Equity Strategy, Scott Cronert. Scott, why don't we start there? Because this has been a sector that's obviously provided decent outperformance over the last how many years?
Yeah, at the starting point, it's been a great year this past quarter, right? So we have to acknowledge how strong the move has been and how supportive the semiconductor fundamentals in particular have been to the tech trade. The way we see it setting up, and we've been on the bullish side of this for a couple of years now, is that we're probably due for a bit of a, let's call it a face-off here, where we're going to be contending with the price hikes that we're seeing on the memory side of the semiconductor equation, facing off against the ROI discussion around the hyperscalers. So we think that this is probably going to be a theme that we hear much more about through the Q2 reporting period. You throw on top of that our expectation that most enterprises will be talking about, commitment to AI, but wanting to rationalize and be more focused on their spending around this. All of this, we think, increases the noise level around the tech trade that's done so well for us so far this year.
So then do you think that circular nature is bearish for the broader sector? Do you feel like because of that internal indigestion, there will be certain industries and certain stocks within the industries that will outperform and others that will, obviously
we've been talking all
out
year that this has become an idiosyncratic trade. Do you see that when you look at the Mag 7 cohort, which we're saying is no longer a thing? Year to date, they're down on the year. We've gone to Mag 8. You can probably take it to 9 or 10, depending on how you want to incorporate this next wave of semiconductor companies coming in here. So what we're arguing here is that, it certainly gets much more stock specific in terms of how we think about this. But the playbook at large is that, we don't dismiss the ongoing CapEx tailwind that's going to support the AI trade. We just think we're at a point here where we have to allow this to digest a little bit and ferret out a little bit more. Again, this ongoing face-off between
the strength we're seeing in the semiconductor component, combined with some of the pricing angst that you think we're going to see filter through to the hyperscalers on this ROI discussion.
You think that's going to get reflected in the guidance from chip makers or memory makers, or on margins or pricing, or not demand?
No, the thing is, they don't know. All right, I think what we're setting up here as we go into the Q2 reporting period, this is going to become a bit more topical of an issue, and we're going to have to contend with it. Now, in the meantime, while we're turning a bit more cautious on tech, certainly for Q3, we're going even more aggressively into the broadening playbook. So what we're allowing for here is some rotation within the market, particularly as we wind down the Iran situation. You see oil prices come in. We think presumably that's going to take some edge off of the inflation dynamic as we go through Q3 and begin to set all this up for a bit of a rotation back towards more traditional economic sensitivity.
So you think the broader S&P will be able to still rise in Q3, Q4 without tech?
So we're sitting here with the highest earnings estimate for the S&P on the street, I believe, at 350 for this year.
Whoa.
We think, if anything, that's conservative. I don't have an issue with that. But what you have to acknowledge is the importance that the semiconductor component of that has had in terms of driving the index numbers higher, right? We're also at an 8,100 year-end target. So don't get me wrong. Color us constructive in terms of the way we're
8,100 target, 350 on earnings. I may not be bullish enough. I'm going to break down the jolts for everybody in a sec. I want to finish hearing what Citi has to say, and I'm going to break down a few things for everybody. Addicted to trading, I am going to get into REITs in a minute. Matt Money is in the chat. Matt Money, what is going on?
thinking about the equity market into the back half of the year. We're just allowing for Q3 to be a little bit more differentiated in terms of some rotational effects within the index.
Let me just, before we end, Meta's down because of worries about spending. Alphabet is well off its highs because of worries about spending. Amazon's only up 3% for the year because of worries about spending. Microsoft had a historically bad quarter as a stock. Aren't we already seeing this?
A lot of it's in, and this is very true. And I think where we're going with this is that we've kept our underweight on the communication services side. So we think that area continues to be noisy on the ROI discussion. We actually lifted software from an underweight up to a market weight. So we're allowing for some mean reversion here, David. And
Chris, if you're in the chat, did you hear that? Mean reversion being called on software. I like this guy. I don't agree with some of the stuff he said about tech, but I do agree with S&P 8100. I have an 8,000 target. I do agree with mean reversion on software. I like it.
Point we're making is as you suggest, the Mag 7's already been trading very differentiated on this, and just a question of, therefore, how persistent this semiconductor play that's been so focused on this, this storage component can persist. We're just allowing for it to back and fill as we go through Q3.
All right, Scott, thank you.
Thank you.
Meantime, WTI.
All right. I got to tell you, I'm a little bullish. Just a little bullish, ladies and gentlemen. Just a little bullish. Matt, what are we asking questions about? Hold on, let me go back in the chat real quick. All right, we got some big news. So we're going to go with Cactus Jack first. OpenAI engineers develop new optimizations, cutting model inference costs by more than 60%, requiring less NVIDIA chips, according to the information. OpenAI may use these savings to lower API pricing or increase user query limits. All right, let's see. That's brand new news. Let's see what NVIDIA, how it's responding. Then I want to answer the questions about jolts. NVIDIA's not responding to it. 197.27. We'll check back with NVIDIA in a few minutes. REITs make you sleep addicted to trading, then I won't talk about REITs. If you don't want to hear it, I won't talk about REITs. So it looks like, Matt, do you have a little meeting today? Is that what you're saying? Are you going to talk with Sir Peter Beck? Well, you can ask Sir Peter Beck this. Why is Steve not bullish Rocket Lab? That's what you should ask him. Just saying. Just saying. Am I worried? No, not at all. We don't even know if it's true, first off. Second, I still stand by we need so much more demand. I mean, we need so much more compute. I don't know. Let's look at it on the big chart. I mean, Nvidia's still holding 197. June, I'm very stubborn. Very, 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 very stubborn. All right, so now Nvidia is starting to react to the news. It just lost 197. All right, we'll come back to Nvidia, or I'll leave Nvidia up while I go over the jolts and everything else. All right, so let's frame it like this, okay? The jolts is the job openings and labor turnover survey, hence jolts, okay? It's a running count of how many jobs employers are trying to fill at the moment. And we know that the Fed pays a lot of it. Wow, it's a big wick, but it's coming back off the wick. I'm doing two things at once right now, left brain, right brain. Nvidia is actually coming off that wick. Very nice. So the Fed watches this because if you have a lot of job openings, it means companies have to compete for workers, and then competition can push wages up. And Mad Money's blowing up the group chat. So higher wages, they're great for people, but the Fed looks at it as it can keep inflation sticky. Now, the rest of the labor picture backs this up. Employers add 172,000 jobs in May. Unemployment held at 4.3%. It's not a fluke. The job market is holding firm. So as long as hiring stays healthy, traditionally, the Fed has not had a reason to cut and bring rates down because a strong job market is exactly the thing that traditionally has kept mortgage and credit card rates high. Now, jolts coming in hot traditionally has meant that the Fed does not want to cut rates because they don't need to help anything. Consumer confidence, go to that. There's two parts to it, how people feel about the economy and how they expect things to look in 6 months, okay? A reading in the low 90s is on the soft side. When the number's over 100, people feel good. They're spending on credit cards, autos, whatever. We're not going to say boats. Acronym break off another 1,000. I'll never own one. A couple of my friends do. They love them. But no, like regular purchases. So prices are still high at grocery stores. Prices are still high. We saw President Trump come out and tell gas stations they need to lower prices. Oil's at 70, et cetera, et cetera. That he feels oil's not, or gasoline's not coming down quick enough given where oil is, okay? Rates have not come down for relief, and there's still uncertainty from the Middle East conflict. Oil's still sitting above where it was before the conflict started, and that shows up when you go fill up the tank. So what does it all mean? All right. The Fed has two jobs, as we all know, and we all know I feel much more strongly about one of them. Keep people employed and keep prices stable. Right now, both are pointing the same way, which is to stay tight, unfortunately, based off of historical thinking. Not my thinking, but historical thinking on the Fed. Jobs are strong. So traditionally, when jobs are strong, the Fed does not see a reason to cut. And when inflation's high, so they don't want to. So remember, the market already flipped this year. We went from expecting rate cuts to now betting, according to CME Group, that the next move could be a hike. Numbers like today's are why that shift happened. I mean, I don't agree with it, but that's traditionally what it's like. So we'll see. I do think that we're not looking at the right data points. Jolt's not saying that, but keep in mind, this is backward-looking data. Still, this is still a backward-looking report from 30 days ago, probably more like 45 days ago, from when everything was filled out and then aggregated. So, I don't know. This could turn into a nightmare for the Fed. We'll see. Now, the two numbers to watch next, the upcoming jobs report and the next inflation print. I think the next inflation print is going to be bad. My own opinion, the next print is probably going to be the highest one, and then it'll gradually come down as long as oil is here. So the economy is sending split signals, and the Fed is not going to come in and do anything anytime soon, in my opinion. So I think we got to stay patient, and let's look at where CME Group. I don't think CME Group has changed anything just yet. Let's bring up the Fed Watch tool. So the next meeting is July 29th, right smack in the middle of earnings season. And then we got Jackson Hole in August, no meeting. We got a September meeting where they're calling for a hike in September. They're calling for a 67% chance of a hike. You got October, they're up to 74% chance hike, and then December closing it out because there's no November meeting. Got an 84% chance of a hike. I think this is all backwards. We'll see. We will see. The reason why I think that this is going to change is because I believe the CPI report is going to change. If we bring that up, trading economics, let's go there. Indicators, inflation. So we look at the past 10 years, okay? Look at the past 10 years. I guess we could do it on a 5-year chart too. Inflation follows oil. Think about what exactly this looks like, okay? Go on a 10-year chart also. This follows oil. So let's go to WTI. Why did it not update? That's so annoying. So annoying that I did that. Ha! Baseball cards again. You can see what I look at night. Baseball cards. All right. The 5-year on oil. Oh, what does that look like? Oh, inflation. It follows oil, ladies and gentlemen. It follows oil. So oil started coming down. There's a lag. I think the next report's going to be the worst. As long as we can stay around this level, it will even out. And I think that we're going to see in August, these numbers really start to look better. You know what, Matt? I don't want to know about your ads. My ads are clearly baseball cards, okay? Clearly baseball cards. And I really wish it wasn't showing this because I am taking a position in him, okay? I am taking a position in him. He's a two-way player just like Ohtani, and I am taking a position. More on that later on Alternative Asset Weekly. All right, let's get back to the hood. And NVIDIA is back up. Just like that, the red candle down gets filled. We get a big spike up. NVIDIA is trying to get back to 198. NVIDIA is trying to get back to 198, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so this wouldn't just be bad for NVIDIA. This would be bad for AMD also. And AMD is running, baby. AMD is running. Running down a dream. Listen, Evil Fandango, if you want those type of advertisements, you're going to have to go watch Matt's channel because mine's going to be a bunch of baseball cards and Pokemon cards. I don't know what to tell you. I'm a boring old guy, okay? I'm a boring old guy. Baseball cards and Pokemon cards. All right, Qualcomm. We're going to get into Qualcomm. I'm going to get into Qualcomm tonight with Chris. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole with everybody now. Tonight at 9 p.m., Chris is going to pitch me on one company, and I'm going to pitch Chris on Qualcomm because I did a lot of research on it. All right, let's look at Broadcom, where we're at on this. I mean, 376, not really that happy about it, but you know what? After that news with OpenAI, I'll take what we can get right now. I will take what we can get. All right, let's see the biggest changes. Nebius, 284. Marvell, trying to get that Carvel cake. 296. SanDisk, 2157. ARM 360. CoreWeave, trying to get back to 100. AMD 558. Nobody's taking this OpenAI news seriously. Nobody. Paper gains. Jason in the chat. Jason, on Technical Tuesday, 4:15-ish. I'll send you a link in a little bit. Let's go down the Qualcomm rabbit hole a little bit. Let's do it. I got some thoughts on it from a fundamental standpoint. I'd like to see what you think about it from a technical standpoint. Technical Tuesday, 4:15, ladies and gentlemen. And I will do a much better job than I did last time. I will put timestamps in the, I normally don't do it on the live streams, but I went and looked at one of Amit's after some comments, and he actually puts the timestamps in. So I will try my best to get the timestamps in so you can go back and watch it. Whoa. No, you're not. Jason is going fundamental. Whoa. I can't wait. That's awesome. Can't wait. Can't wait. All right. Rocket Lab is trying to do it. 99.61, ladies and gentlemen. Rocket Lab is trying to get back to 100. Trying to get back to 100. And NVIDIA just did it, 198. Look at that. 197.99, 198.02, 198.04, 197.98. NVIDIA is fighting back and forth right now. It is fighting. QXO is hanging out above 18. Microsoft 372. Where's Oracle? 148. Micron 1152. Palantir 116. Nike 4151. So once Nike's earnings are out, we will go into Technical Tuesday. I'm very interested in Nike's earnings. I do not have a position, but I'm very interested in Nike's earnings. And who's down today? All right, oil starting to taper off a little bit, 70.67. Amazon still under 240. Costco 941, Reddit 173.25. Rusty, thank you very much. Yeah, not a bad idea. If anybody wants to help me out, that'd be great. I'll try to do it on my own. I really don't want to ask anything of anybody. I'll try to do it on my own. I'll just keep it open in another screen. Zeta 1952. I think people are sleeping on Zeta, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go to the stock draft. ServiceNow, Uber down, Take Two down. All right, let's go to the stock draft. Let's see how we're doing. And if you didn't watch the draft, Charles, I don't want to ask you to do it. I can do it. But thank you for volunteering. If you didn't watch the draft, you can always watch it. And if you want to do me a favor, if you like and subscribe, that helps me out a lot. I would really appreciate it if you're enjoying the content. All right, Jason has overtaken Matt Money. Jason has overtaken Matt Money, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the crazy part. Matt has 8 companies in the green. Jason only has 3, yet Jason is up. Tanner is in 3rd. Chris is in 4th. Amit is in 5th. And I'm in last again. I'm in last. Let's take a look. Look at Jason's portfolio. He was down at one point, negative 6.14%. Now he's up. Started at the bottom, and then GLW took him to the top, 37.24%. Look at that. Incredible. Jason is a great role model to society. How about that? Great role model to society. GLW crushing it for him. All right. Mad Money. Oof. Was ugly. Now it's doing well. SpaceX, look at this. Can this guy pick him or what? Can Matt pick him or what? Canada. Rubric ended up being a really good pick for him. And I think he's going to be okay on Palantir. Chris's portfolio. Vive Systems. Everybody in the chat seems to like Vive for some reason. Iren, 23%. Ugh. We're all AI or bust. There's no question about it. We are all AI or bust. Here's Amit, AMD and GE Vernovo. Oh, man. All right. Let's see how bad mine is. Ugly. Oracle, killing me. CoreWeave, killing me. Killing me, Smalls. You're killing me, Smalls. Zeta is my number 1. Can you believe that? Oracle, killing me. Zeta's my number 1. Salesforce is in the black, baby. Let's do it. Zeta's in the black. Uber's in the black. Salesforce and Taiwan Semi. I like my portfolio. Okay? I like my portfolio. Nothing I would have done differently. Yes, I have Pepsi. Pepsi is paying me a 4% dividend. And you know what? I don't think it's really going to be down that much. I think it'll be up. I took Baba as a spec. Okay, I took it as a spec. So we'll see. Very funny. I get it. Very funny. Give me one sec. Okay, Ken is getting out of control with this shit. I gotta tell you, at some point we will get Farmer Bro back on. He's getting out of control with that shit. All right, let's go back and look at where we are in the market. Stay out of New York City the next couple of days, ladies and gentlemen. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce getting married at MSG, I think. I will be nowhere freaking near that. All right. Robin Hood. Hoodie-o Hood. Man, Nebius is running. It's up over 10%. Man, did I pick wrong? I should have taken Nebius over CoreWeave. It's okay. CoreWeave, 99. Marvell, 296. Man, Marvell is running today. Look at that. Marvell is running. Rocket Lab trying to get back to 100. AMD 557. Let's run this poll. I got a different poll. Do you own the following? AMD, NVIDIA, both or neither? You know, we always talk about these companies. I want to know. I would like to know. Okay. Over 30% both. Over 30% both. I like it. Chris, thank you so much. Sports cards. Live sports card trading. I'm up 100% year over year. Chris, put it in the chat. What players? What players? Sport and players, Chris. I need to know. Sport and players. And by the way, Chris, if you go to Card Vault's YouTube channel, they just did an episode with Bobby Witt Jr., Kansas City Royals. His sports card collection's insane. Insane. All legends, hockey, and soccer. Okay. Cool. All right. AMD 13%, NVIDIA 32%, both 33%, neither 21%. Huh. Addicted to trading. Question for you. What are you seeing that makes you think that it will go down in August? I'm just wondering. Lena, we know. Lena, you're better than us. I get it. You're like Matt. You're better than us. I get it. Lisa, congrats. That's awesome. Okay. You need both in your life. Lena, I sold so many shares at $3.68. No bueno on my part. No bueno. All right, we're going to end the poll out. $34 NVIDIA, 30% both. SpaceX 167, it's running. NVIDIA trying to make a run at it. This OpenAI news, not shaking them at all. That I like. And why would it? I mean, really think about it. Does that mean that Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet, and Meta are not going to buy the Vera Rubin stack? I mean, I don't believe that's going to matter. I just don't. Man, Rocket Lab's trying to do it. QXO, 18. We're at 18 on QXO. Take two, trying to get past 250, and I am impressed with the Milk Gang playing GTA 5. The amount of you playing GTA 5, I love it. Good stuff. Qualcomm, 189, it's up $1. Jason and I will be going over it. Amazon 240, we did it. We got past 240. Hood, where'd Hood just go? There we go, 102. I like it. Oil, 70.72. All right. Do I think AMD at 600 could be a catalyst for Meta? They have warrant, yes, but I'd rather go off of Meta's fundamentals. I think Meta is so undervalued here that it is just going to do well. I really believe it's just going to do well. It's hard to be bearish on a company that just did 33% year-over-year revenue in Q1. It's very hard to be bearish on that. I just don't know that. I don't know. I can't get bearish on that. I'm sorry, I can't. We didn't jinx QXO. They need rates. No, Matt. Mexico? No. No Mexico. You can go to Mexico. I'll sit right here drinking my Starbucks. We can go to Canada in August. How about that? Canada in August. I'll meet you there. Oh, yeah. I haven't looked at Verizon. Why do I not have them on on this list? Hold on. Where are we on that? Verizon is down to 42.12. I don't know if this is going to keep going lower or not, but I think it's going to be fine. Let's see if Verizon keeps going down or not. If this gets under 40, I think it becomes a no-brainer, but we'll see. Who's Peter Griffin? I don't understand the reference. Sorry, I don't get it. There you go. Chris and Matt can do a meetup in Mexico. You will not catch me there. Why is everybody laughing at me? The Family Guy? I'm sorry, I've never seen it. I know the kid is, or the baby is Stewie only because of like memes and stuff. I don't know. I don't watch that stuff. Peter Griffin? Family Guy character. I will say that's pretty funny. That is pretty funny. It's not that I don't know about Family Guy. I've heard of it. I just don't watch it. I don't know. I do not watch it. I sound just like him. Okay. Sure. I don't know. Am I going to have to watch one of these now? Cactus Jack in the house. So I know who Ned Flanders is because you guys already roasted me over that. I do not watch The Simpsons either. I've actually never watched an entire episode of The Simpsons, so. Tanner. Yes, Tanner. Yeah, I don't know. I don't watch that stuff. I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm sure it's funny. I am sure. Am I going to have to do like a live reaction channel to this stuff that I've never watched? I feel like I'm going to have to at some point. No, Amit can still be bashed for his lack of movies. The fact that I don't watch cartoons, I cannot be bashed for that. I watch a lot of TV shows, just not cartoons. What's Rick and Morty? And no, I am not trolling you guys. What is Rick and Morty? Yes, I laugh at Amit because he hasn't seen movies, but I didn't watch Family Guy. Yes, I know. I'm horrible. I'm horrible. Wow, you guys really like your cartoons, huh? You guys really like your cartoons. Why is we need to build this out further. Netflix. How's Netflix doing? Oh boy, that's ugly. Netflix down 2%. PB, thank you very much. I mean, look, we got to go USA, baby. We got to go USA. All right, Zeta turning red. 1941. Wendy's. Wendy's is still hanging out there. Wendy's is still hanging out. I like the numbers on Wendy's. I don't know. I need to look more into their turnaround plan. But listen, the dividend yield is pretty crazy, and they are profitable, have a lot of EBITDA for the size of the company. The net debt to EBITDA level is a little high, but it's not exorbitant. So, I don't know. No, listen, when I was a kid, I watched cartoons, but I haven't been a kid for a long time. Fran, Verizon's getting smoked. Get that dividend yield up. Let's go. Let's go. All right, Uber, Nancy's favorite stock. I got to go back. Okay. Maybe I'll go back. Maybe I'll watch a little. We'll see. We'll see. No, I'm not calling you guys kids. What I'm saying is I used to watch cartoons as a kid. I haven't watched cartoons since. I don't know. A lot of you probably have children. Watch it with them. I don't know. I don't follow Grab. I can't give you any insights on that. SoFi just lost 18. Rocket Lab falling a little bit, but still doing really well. All right, Reddit is under my strike price. I got 172.50s for this week. Believe it or not, I was thinking about buying more Reddit. Here's my line of thinking on Reddit, ladies and gentlemen. I was thinking about adding to the position to write more covered calls because of how big the premium is. The premium on Reddit is absolutely crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Let's look at this together. Yes, hold on. A guy who collects Pokemon cards should probably watch cartoons. I don't collect Pokemon cards. They are investments. I buy sealed boxes and put them in my storage unit. They are alternative assets. Alternative assets. All right, let me show everybody what I'm thinking about Reddit. So I like the numbers out of Reddit. I like the forward numbers that the analyst community believes is going to happen. The analyst community is saying 90% EPS growth, then 30, then 28. Trades at 21 times forward. Huge revenue growth. I love the numbers. We went through the first quarter. Loved it. Here's the call options for next week, okay? Look how insane that is. We're at 171 right now, okay? 171. You could sell the 175s for $6.80. Okay, I'm going to give you an exact number. I have the roundabout in my head. So 680 divided by 175. That's 3.9% in a week and a half over 8 trading days. Plus another $5, so call it another 3% in appreciation. That's insane. Like, I'm really thinking about buying more Reddit just for the call options. No, it's not welcome to selling options, man. It's called the IV is huge on Reddit because of the volatility. And the premiums are very lucrative. If you look at NVIDIA, NVIDIA doesn't have options like that. So NVIDIA for the 10th at $4 out, 410. That's 2%. You're getting almost double the yield on Reddit. Incredible. Sat in Chief, thank you very much for the support. I actually did not see this. X Money 6% APY. I don't know how the hell they're doing that unless Elon's funding it. So I don't know. I have no clue. Why don't I get into Reddit with puts? Well, I'm already in Reddit. I was thinking about buying more to sell covered calls, but let's look at the put action. So if I was to sell puts at 170, That's just under. It's 3.7%. I don't want to do that, because if it happens to go up, I can make more getting the shares called away. If it goes down, see, that's the thing. I'm not buying it for a long-term investment. I'm buying it for writing calls. So the put strategy doesn't work, because if I sell the put at 170, yes, my break even is technically 173.65. But if it goes down on me, it's not worth it. Whereas I can buy the shares and write the calls. And if it keeps going up, I make the appreciation plus. So milking. We're going to wish you good luck. We're going to wish you good luck, sir. $20. I appreciate that so much. 50K on Nike at 41. Whew. Putting some faith in Nike. Let's look at what they're expecting. What wrong button? I apologize. Nike. All right. Earnings. They're expecting 13 cents. You got 3 revisions up, 20 revisions down. Everybody expects this turnaround to be This quarter, everybody's expecting to be low, going up and up, and the turnaround working year over year. This is going to be about guidance, okay? So you're hoping that there's good guidance when I see this. Because the year over year is down 7% on EPS. I mean, we'll see. Good luck, sir. I am not in Nike. I'm waiting. Now, look, getting what was interesting to me about Nike is the dividend's around 4%. Horrible chart. Does it break below 40? When's the last time it broke below 40? It hasn't. In the past decade, it has not broken below 40, it doesn't look like. So, I don't know. The numbers are not great. Let me use my system so I don't have to do math in my head. I do have it open. Okay. Give me one moment, everybody. I just got to check one thing on the calendar. Okay. All right. Let's get into it. Nike, 60 billion market cap, negative revenue growth, EPS negative, good ROE and ROIC. I don't love the margins. I hate where it's trading on free cash flow. I don't like the cash from ops valuation. This is not, and look, when I'm looking at Qualcomm, and I know you guys don't like when I look, but look, if I put it against Qualcomm, which I've been looking at, Qualcomm looks from a valuation standpoint much cheaper. Okay, much cheaper. So from a value play, I don't think Nike's there. But let's see where the analysts have it going forward on EPS. Man, this is, look, Milken, this is what I'm going to tell you. If the turnaround works, Nike's super undervalued. Super undervalued. If it works. I don't know that it's going to work. I have no clue. So we'll see. I wish you luck. Stop back this afternoon. We'll be going over Nike earnings live. All right, everyone, we're going to do a final check on the market. We'll do it on my system since I'm in here. And then I'm going to get going. I do have a meeting today. I'm trying to figure out how I can make this public. I was going to have more information today. I'm going to have more information later today for you. All right, the heat map, tech. Doing good. I don't hate this. Nebius, 285. Marvell, 295. SanDisk, 2166. AMD, 558. The SMH, 649. Next Decade, 754. SpaceX, 168. A lot of good things. NVIDIA, all right, 197. It's coming down a little bit. Tesla, 413. Googs, 354. Microsoft, 370. Let's see who the losers are. Verizon getting smoked. TKO falling. I may get another opportunity for TKO. Zeta, over 19. SoFi, 1774. Reddit, 170. ServiceNow, 97. Fortinet, 151. Salesforce, down a little bit, 154.90. Meta, 552. Oracle, 145. Rocket Lab, 96.41. Hood, 100, staying over it. Big old Scary Mo, 73. All in all, decent day. All in all, decent day. This is where I'm going to leave you guys. I think we're in a good place. I don't think that the reports from today change anything for the market. I do think that oil is going to keep coming down gradually, and we'll see it roll in the CPI over the next several months. It's 10:58. I will be back at 3:45 with everybody. We will cover Nike, and then we will get into Technical Tuesday with Jason about 4:15 after the market closes. And then Chris and I will be on tonight at 9 p.m. You guys mean everything. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for being here with me this morning. I truly appreciate it. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, if you find me entertaining and if you like what I'm doing, I would greatly appreciate it. Cost you nothing. Please like and subscribe. All right. I'll be back at 3:45. Thank you, everybody. I will see you later for the market close. Have a great afternoon. Have a great lunch. And get your steps in so the step bullies do not get after you. See everybody later. Thank you.